Pastor Gibson for inviting me to share with you during this season of Lent. I pray that you'll be strengthened in your commitment to follow Christ and encouraged in your determination to be a witness for Him wherever you go. I suppose it's an occupational hazard, but I do so enjoy studying the Scripture. I find it amazing when I read a passage of Scripture for the 1 millionth time to get surprised by what I see and hear. Let me see if I can help you understand what I mean. Listen to this passage from Luke chapter 13. At that time, some Pharisees came to Jesus and said to him, "Leave this place and go somewhere else. Herod wants to kill you." Jesus replied, "Go tell that fox, I will keep on driving out demons and healing people today and tomorrow, and on the third day, I'll reach my goal. In any case, I must press on today and tomorrow and the next day, for surely no prophet can die outside Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you, how often I have longed to gather your children together, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you were not willing." When I first thought about sharing with you, this is the scripture that came to my mind, the part where Jesus, at the point of tears, mourns over the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem represents all the people who think they know what's best for themselves, but in reality are blinded by their own self-interest. Jerusalem represents all the people who have received Jesus' invitation to life in its fullness, only to reject it out of hand. This breaks Jesus' heart because he understands that they are only hurting themselves by refusing to allow him to embrace them. This is where I got surprised. In studying the scripture, I try to look at it in context. What that means is that rather than looking at one or two verses in any passage, I try to read the verses that come before and after. Especially in the Gospels where there are so many stories, it's helpful to read the entire narrative and not just one verse or one part of it. When I read this story the other day, I stumbled on something that had always been there, but I'm not sure I'd ever noticed it. I was surprised to see it there, but right there it says that some of the Pharisees came to Jesus with a warning. They tell Jesus that the king is putting out a contract on his life. What's so interesting about this to me is that the Pharisees are Jesus' harshest and most vocal critics. They fight against Jesus on every hand. If Jesus says it's good, they say it's bad. If Jesus says it's light, they say it's dark. If Jesus says go straight, they say turn to the right and the left every 30 seconds. As a group, the Pharisees were in almost every way against Jesus, yet they warn him to leave so that Herod won't kill him. Why would they do this? How does this fit into the story as a whole? And what does it have to do with Lent? Great questions. Here's what I think. Jesus happened to have been very, very clear about what his job was, what was his purpose. I'm remembering seeing a recent video of a substitute teacher and one of his students. Maybe you saw it too. For whatever reason, the student picks up a chair and throws it at the teacher. Now, I think teachers go through training to learn how to deal with this sort of thing. And I imagine that in that training, they tell teachers that the last thing you want to do in a situation like this is pick up a chair and throw it at the student, no matter how you feel. But truth be known, that's the way we are, isn't it? Somebody disrespects me, I'm honor bound to disrespect them. Somebody tarnishes my reputation, I've got to do the same to them. Somebody hurts us, we want to hurt them back. So in some way, as we read this story about Jesus, we expect him to turn aside from his gentle, loving ways and give all these people who are trying to make life difficult for him or trying to destroy his credibility or who want to kill him, give all of these people exactly what people like that deserve. He should wash his hands and be completely done with them. The Pharisees, are they warning him because they really care about him? Or is this just another ploy they're using to try to trap Jesus? Or Herod, why is he trying to kill Jesus? Does he really think that Jesus wants to dethrone him and take his place? And all the people of Jerusalem, he brings them good news, great news. And they say, they'll be just fine with the bad news. Thank you very much. If you ask me, Jesus should just walk away from all of them and leave them all to their own foolish devices. But that's not what happens, as we find out later. No matter how people treat him, Jesus refuses to turn away from them. No matter how he was disrespected by the Herods and the Pharisees of his day, no matter how often the Cliftons of the world turn up their noses at his invitation and gift of life, Jesus fixes his eyes on Jerusalem and with clear eyes and his head held high, takes up the cross. For sure, Jesus had lots of reasons not to carry out this mission, but because of his love for all, he would not turn back, but made his way to Calvary. Perhaps we should follow the example of Jesus and refuse to allow anger or hatred or bitterness or vengeance or hurt feelings turn us back from following the way of Jesus and carrying our own cross. Lord, help us make it so.